Hey there, my friend. I'm Selma Jacinto Domingos, your host. I'm an author, a speaker, a leadership educator, and a life changer coach. Welcome to Selma Success TV to empower you to change your life for the better. Today, we will talk about how to boost your self-esteem to be the person you want to be. And today, I have my very special guest, Bob Sollazzo, a transformational leadership consulting at the Inspired Aim. Bob's helps people use their own inspiration, intuition, and wisdom to create a meaningful life. And just to share with you, before we started recording, and Bob just really suggests for us to do a very helpful meditation, just, to really calm and just be here with you and be able to deliver, the great experience just to help you overcome your low self-esteem, wherever the challenge you have with self-esteem. And I'm so grateful for Bob, give us his time here and talk with us about how you can boost your self-esteem. Bob, please, would you like to tell more about yourself, what you do?
Yeah, well, you said it. I'm a transformational success coach. I'm certified in the Barrett values, culture, and values work, leadership work, as well as Jack Canfield's success principles as a trainer. My ultimate goal is just to be of service. I want to help people create happier, more meaningful lives. And I want to do that because it's been something that I've struggled with most of my life, just not having the self-esteem and feeling stuck in a rut and not knowing what to do about it. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm here, is to help people make a difference in their lives. And so being invited to talk about self-esteem here with you, that's wonderful. That just
Thank
makes
you
me
so
feel
much.
serves my purpose in life. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And just to let you know, you are there listening. So Bob and I, we met at the Jack and Field community, and Jack and Field is very specialist in self-esteem. And Bob, I hear a lot of people saying, like they're really struggling with their self-esteem, and not just has a teen, but also has an adult, because we could say like, okay, because someone is a very young teen, they have like problem with self-esteem because they are growing in all the environment. But even as an adult, adults still have problem with low self-esteem. Can you tell more
Yeah.
about what's caused this?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different things. And the one of the um one of the things, or a few of the things that get in the way, is the pressures that society places on us. We are driven to meet these standards in terms of physical appearance, academic or professional success, or our personal lives.
Mhm.
And really, the standards that society has created for us are really unattainable and unrealistic. They've been created to sell product, and so we can get caught up in thinking that's who we need to be. And those are just standards that we can't reach. Another reason is that we may have a negative life experience, such as a failure, or maybe we were rejected as a child, and or maybe that we were in an environment where we had physical or psychological abuse. And those things create beliefs, hidden beliefs, limiting beliefs that continually operate in the background and sabotage our self-esteem. So those things all go towards creating a perception of ourselves that drags our self-esteem down
Yeah.
over and over and over. And the more that we replay those thoughts, the more that we think that I'm just not good enough.
Mhm.
It just continually lowers self-esteem. And there's a couple other biological reasons why it's hard to keep self-esteem. Our brains have been wired with something called a negative bias. And this negative bias is part of a survival mechanism from our ancestors. And obviously it was successful because we are here today, right?
Yeah.
But it's not so good in today's environment. We're no longer have to survive to run from lions, tigers, and bears. You know, it's a different world out there. And Dr. Rick Hansen, he's a psychologist and an author known for his work on mindfulness. He talks about the Velcro and Teflon effect. Have you heard about that?
That's very new for me, Bob.
Okay. So it describes the negative bias a little bit more. Velcro, you're familiar with Velcro, right?
Mhm.
And Teflon is the nonstick coating in frying pans and things. So Dr. Rick Hansen says that our brain is like Velcro for negative stuff. The negative stuff sticks and doesn't go away. And our mind is like Teflon for the positive stuff. So the positive stuff comes in, oh, it's great. And then 5 minutes later, we've forgotten about it. But we'll hang on to that negative thing that happened a year ago, just like it was happened yesterday. And we have a tendency to replay that in our mind. And that strengthens the neural connections in our brain, because our brain is kind of like a muscle. Have you heard there's a saying that neurons that fire together wire together. And what that means is that when we have repeating thoughts, thoughts that we just keep thinking over and over, they strengthen those neural pathways in our brain. So it becomes more of a default action to automatically fall into that way of thinking. And that's great if you're thinking positive stuff all the time. But because of this negative bias and because of the social pressures on us, it's more likely that we're going to be thinking negative thoughts, and we're going to be burning those patterns of thought into our brain. And that makes it hard to have good, healthy self-esteem. And then the last thing that really adds to that is there's a part of our brain that's called the reticular activating system. And the purpose of the reticular activating system, or the RAS, is to focus our awareness in a particular direction. There's so much stimulus going on around us, from what we see, hear, taste, touch, smell, that it would overwhelm our brain if it was left just to happen. So there's a part of our brain, a set of circuits or neuron pathways in our brain that filter out what's not relevant to us. And we tell our brain what's relevant by what we pay attention to. One of the popular experiments that illustrates that is, imagine that you're looking for a car and you decide that you want a particular model and you want a particular color because you don't see a lot of them. It would be something special, kind of unique. So you make that decision that that's the kind of car you want, that's the color you want, the model. And it's likely that after you do that, you'll start seeing that car, that color, that model everywhere you go.
True.
And that's the brain making that sensing that that's important to you. So it filters out everything else that's not important and highlights that car, that color, to the forefront of your awareness. So again, if we're looking for positive stuff in our life, in our world, it shows us more to be positive about. It shows us more to be grateful for. On the other hand, if we are stuck in that negative rut, we're replaying those bad things that happened to us, then we are telling our reticular activating system that that's what we want to see more of. We want to see more of those things, potentially so that we can avoid them. But we're just reinforcing that negative cycle, that negative loop in our mind that makes it hard to have self-esteem.
Wow.
So it's something that we need to, because of the negative bias and because of the way that our brain works, it's important that we consciously and consistently work to counter these negative influences by practicing things that improve, that are known to improve our self-esteem.
Wow, Bob, you just mentioned so many like very important things, and I just learned so much from you just from this explanation. And so, can we say that one of the negative things that really, make our self-esteem low, it's the environment around us. And also, if we keep giving so much attention to this negative environment?
Yes, absolutely. For example, if you're around a bunch of people that are always complaining and blaming and judging other people, that negative environment is going to rub off on you. And as well, if you are a person that spends a lot of time judging, blaming, and complaining, you are reinforcing that negative frame of mind, right?
And you also mentioned something very, very important, especially now that we have so many like social media. We are like always on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, and just seeing, yes, other people's life. And we want to compare ourselves to the other person. How can you, I would not say like avoid, because it's kind of a challenge. If you stay one day without looking on Facebook, it's a big challenge. But how can someone really try to work on themselves and not comparing to other people so they can boost their self-esteem?
Well, the first thing to realize is that when we compare ourselves to other people, we're not comparing ourselves to someone that doesn't have that is not as successful as us. We're not comparing to somebody that's homeless, that's living on the street. We're always comparing ourselves to someone that we think is doing better than us. So perhaps we're comparing our thoughts, our weaknesses against what we perceive as their success. And as you know, people only put on Facebook the things they want other people to see. They don't talk about their problems. So just in comparing ourselves to what appears to be success out there is a recipe for self-criticism, for questioning your worthiness. And it's just not a good place to go. It's unrealistic to compare ourselves to other people out there because we don't know their story. We don't know what's going on in the background. So just it really is in our best interest.
Wow. And
to stop comparing, stop blaming, stop complaining.
I remember you just told something that, people sometimes put like their story, like different stories on Facebook just for people to see them, like they are happy and they're having
look at
this
me,
great
I'm so
life.
successful.
Yes. I remember one time a friend of mine just mentioned with me that one of the neighbors, put a very beautiful picture, and then they were having different problems. So, and if we can really relate to that a little bit, a lot of people, they have a big challenge. They're like really struggling to not comparing themselves. And how can we help someone to stop comparing her or him to someone else that has completely different life?
So one of the keys to happiness is knowing our self-worth from the inside out. Whenever we place our self-worth on things outside of us, those things can be taken away. Those things can change in an instant. When we place our self-worth on who we are as a person, on what we hold to be true, our beliefs, our values, and when we live those beliefs and values, and we can demonstrate in our lives that we are living those beliefs and values, we naturally have high levels of self-esteem because we feel like we're doing what's ours to do. We feel like our life is meaningful. And
So it's like
that
you should,
can't be taken away.
yeah. So you should really be the first person to appreciate who you are as a person from the inside out without comparing to a different person.
Right. Absolutely. Shift the focus to the inside, to your own self-worth and why you deserve to be loved and appreciated.
And Bob,
And
I will because you have so much knowledge about self-esteem, and I'm also a parent, and I know there is like a lot of, parents that they are very struggling with their kids. They have like low self-esteem. They have a teen and they have low self-esteem. They don't know what to do with their kids. So what's would you tell to those parents to help their kids have a strong like self-esteem?
well, first I'll say that I have not been a parent for a very long time.
Mhm.
My son is probably, if I remember right, he's like 46. And the other thing is that I can't say that I was that great of a parent to begin with. So it's questionable to be taking my advice for
Mhm.
helping children, helping parents help their children have greater self-esteem. But I will say this is we all want to feel loved and appreciated, right? It's one of those primary fundamental needs that we all have. And we judge how much that we're loved and appreciated by how much time other people spend on us. And we show how much we love and appreciate someone by the amount of time and attention that we give someone. So one of the things that we can do for in all relationships, whether it's our children, whether it's our spouses, our partners, in our business, is to recognize that we all are looking for someone else's time and attention to feel good about being there in that environment.
Mhm.
So I guess the short answer is that just taking the time to show your children that you love them, that you care, that you're interested in what they have to say, and even if sometimes it's silly,
Yeah.
they need to feel heard. So anything that you can do to do that is gonna dramatically affect their self-esteem.
I agree with you. My two kids, the oldest, they are like in college. Lucy's now, she will graduate this May, and Kenny's in third. Since they moved to college, I always text them every single morning to say good morning and every night to say good night, because
That
I
is
want to make,
nice.
yeah, thank you. I want to make sure that they are loved, even if they're like in college, even if they are distant, we still keep our connection. And then after we trying to figure out how we could keep the connection as a family, we start this little traditional, which is like every Sunday we FaceTime and then we talk about, we pray together, we say thank you, what's happened during the week. And it's very helpful, really helps
Oh,
them and helps me. as a mom and them as a kids to feel loved and just, to feel that the love is there. And yeah, this is just one of the greatest things I really do.
Well,
And
that is amazing. That is incredible.
thank you so
Kudos
much.
to you.
Yeah.
That is, wish you were my mom.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Bob, like there is a lot of people, they are like working, they have this stressed life, how they can build like just kind of like changing from family to, your personal choices and success. How can you build your success through your self-esteem? Like maybe the question would be, does your self-esteem influence so much in the way you do your job?
Oh yeah. Um, so, self-esteem is sort of one of the foundational things of our personality. It's our
Mhm.
overall sense of our value, our own worth. It's sort of a measure of how much that we appreciate ourselves, how much we like ourselves.
Yes.
And if and that can change over time depending on what happens around us. But as you can see, as you can understand, how much we appreciate and love ourselves can affect everything else that we do in life. And that also translates to business. Yeah. So if we have, I say, one of my sayings is that self-esteem is the fuel behind courage, the
Mhm.
courage to take healthy
Yeah.
risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to grow, to learn, and to win, to be successful. Without self-esteem, you don't have that fuel. It's the basis of people's confidence. It helps you cope with adverse situations. If you have good self-esteem, you can suffer a failure, and you can accept it as a learning lesson, and you can take that lesson and continue to move forward. If you don't have good self-esteem, you're going to see yourself as a failure. You're going to um, you're going to criticize your own self-worth, and you're going to step back into safety instead of forward in the growth and opportunity. So, strong self-esteem is absolutely necessary for a person that's in business to be able to have the courage to step out and take risks in a lot of times in a world of uncertainty, of unless you've done whatever you're doing in business before and you're already an expert in it,
Mhm.
you're going to have a lot of questions, or whether you're making the right decisions, whether now's the right time to do this or that. Without strong self-esteem, you're likely to be stuck, and you're not going to be able to move forward.
It's like
Uh,
self-esteem is really, I'm sorry, your foundation to build yourself up. Even if it's like in your family, in the business, in your career, in the society, it's like the foundation.
right, right, absolutely. It is the foundation. And just to step back one step further from, so first, there's our self-care.
Yeah.
It's making sure that we're getting enough sleep, we're eating nutritious food, and that we're exercising. That is our physical and mental well-being. Is sort of the foundation for everything else that happens, that we are building everything else on top of. And it's a difference between building a house on rock and building a house on
Yeah.
sand. If the foundation isn't solid, you might be able to build some great structure, but it's not going to stay. It's going to collapse at some point.
Mhm, mhm.
So self-care is paramount. It's critical. And then on top of that, good self-care makes it easier to have better self-esteem. you're more likely going to have better self-esteem if you are getting enough sleep. You're going to be more aware that those failures or those difficulties that you encounter are just simply facts of life that everyone experiences.
Yeah, because sometimes you want like to assume that self-esteem will just like show up if you read the book, if do all other things, but really you need to take care of yourself. Like if you're like sleeping well, if you are doing exercise, if you're eating healthy, and if you have like good relationships around you.
Yeah. And one of there's a number of things that if you don't know if you have low self-esteem, do you lack confidence? Or do you catch yourself? Do you say things like, oh, I'm just not good enough, or I always make that mistake, or I'll fail if I do this? Do you have difficulty accepting compliments? If somebody compliments you, can you say, well, thank you, that is so nice of you to say? Do you have an overwhelming fear of failure, or do you need to have things perfect before you can go forward? Do you procrastinate on things that are important that you need to do? Do you avoid social situations because you're afraid of being humiliated, rejected, or judged?
And those are the symptoms that sometimes a lot of people, they just really, they don't pay attention, like the words that they say, the way they think, and they reject their like the feedbacks and compliments, and those are like very little sign that you really have to pay attention and see how you're like the level, and see the level of your self-esteem, right?
Right. And so just to finish the list real quickly, because the last one I want to touch on, unhealthy coping mechanisms such as overeating or substance abuse, self-medicating yourself, neglecting your self-care routines, that's a sign of low self-esteem. And then this last one is one that I suffered through and still occasionally do. I'm constantly seeking new education and training, but only gaining a superficial understanding before I move on to the next big thing. It took me a while to get over it and to realize that that was a sign. I was looking for that external thing that would boost my self-esteem.
You are not the only one, Bob. I look for knowledge like all the time. So that's mean I'm still working also on my level of self-esteem as well.
But the difference is that seeking knowledge and taking the time to learn it and practice it, that's one thing. That's very good. But picking up a book and reading the first couple of chapters and then putting it down and finding another book, that's a sign of low self-esteem. Listening to one trainer or one author, listening to a self-help something, and then forgetting about it and picking up something else, going and watching or listening to someone else, that's a sign that you're trying to validate your self-esteem on something outside of yourself.
That's very powerful, Bob. That's a great distinction. I was like, think I had no idea. That's really great distinction. And I don't want to take so much of your time, but I'm loving our conversation. And what would be like your advice for someone, to boost their self-esteem, and just to be this person at the level they want to be, so they can always kind of feel good, without getting caught or be influenced by other people's opinions, social media, all the negative environment that they are having?
Well, we talked about a couple of them already. Do everything you can to retrain yourself to stop complaining, stop blaming, stop judging other people. Their journey is their journey. And when you find yourself wanting to control them, just say to yourself, let them be. They have their own journey. We talked about how important self-care is, making sure that you are getting a good night's sleep, that you are eating good food, that you're getting exercise. Exercise helps you deal with the stress in your life. It helps you develop more endurance, more energy. And there was something else, but it just journal. Keep a success journal. Every success that you have, whether it's small or large, you want to celebrate it. You also want to document it in a journal. And when you find yourself struggling with self-esteem, go back and read that success journal. It's guaranteed to boost you back up, your self-esteem back up there. Surround yourself with supportive, positive people, people that like you, that will help you, that will give you someone to bounce things off of, that will make suggestions, that will hold you accountable to the things that you say that you were going to do. That's one of the best things that you could do for your long-term success in life, is to have that strong support environment.
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge and expertise, and just really to be here and share with us. I really appreciate so much. And for our guests, for you that you are home, thank you so much for making the time to invest in yourself, in your health, in your self-esteem, in your knowledge. So we appreciate you and we see you. So if you want to connect with Bob, you will find his information below here on my channel, so you can connect with Bob and you can see all the great work that he does for self-esteem. And if you want to stay connected with us, subscribe and share with your friends and family, and help someone else that you see maybe they are, suffering, they have like low self-esteem, and share this video with them so you can help them as well, because we are here to help you and we appreciate you and we love you. And to stay connected again here, don't forget, subscribe and share. And for more information, go to my website, selmajacintodomingos.com. And I also want to share with you, I will be doing a spring 3 days challenge beginning March 25th to take bold action, to help you taking bold action to achieve your goals and to achieve your dreams. You will find more information on my YouTube channel as well. And I see you and I appreciate you. And I will see you next time, my friends. See you next time and take care. Thank you so much, Bob, again. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.